It's time to feel what you've been bottling up. Life in rural America isn't easy. The long hours, the constant pressures, the demands of the land, livestock, and family, it all takes a toll. We're tough and we've got grit, but somewhere along the way, toughness started meaning bottling up emotions and powering through. But here's the truth. That strategy, it's not working and it's poisoning us. Maybe you've noticed and maybe you haven't, but the numbers don't lie. We're breaking down and it's showing up in our bodies, our relationships, and in the rising suicide rates in agriculture. You don't have to carry any of it alone. There's another way. If you're ready to stop being weighed down and start moving forward, my one-on-one good movement guidance is now open. Visit the link in the show notes to learn more and see if one-on-one guidance could be for you.
I'll carry you, you carry me, we'll help each other through it. Come on and see, good movement draws good movement.
Welcome to Good Movement Draws Good Movement, the podcast where farmers, ranchers, and rural folks can grow relationally through awareness, understanding, and effective communication. Hey, it's T. I'm your host, and I, along with my guests, will be covering topics related to drawing good movement. Things like self and social awareness, brain science, positive psychology, extending grace, and so much more. We'll share tools that can help you understand why you are the way you are, why others are the way they are, and how you can use that to step out of self-told lies with grace and compassion to draw good movement in conversations, relationships, and life in rural America. Let's go draw good movement. Welcome back to the Good Movement Draws Good Movement podcast. We're doing a sort of proof of life update episode. We're recording in the evening, so this evening, but whatever time you're listening to it. We wanted to give an update on how our cows are doing and how we are working to build trust with them. And also just like some other updates. Tom is about half asleep in the chair now.
Yep.
So how are the cows doing?
Better. Some of them are better.
What have we been doing to help that?
So the first branded bunch, we've been stringing since 1st of June.
What does stringing mean?
Moving their...
We are on an intensive meadow grazing rotation, and we use temporary string fence to keep them in a smaller area so they can graze it better. And then we move them.
Yeah, it's not super intense, but there's a lot of string fence and stuff like that to do. It might get a little more intense when we start, when we're finally finished branding. So we'll just have to see how it goes. But the first bunch is doing a lot better.
Because they have a lot more opportunity to walk by us and
yeah, there's a lot more interaction with them.
Be around us.
And you're always the guy. You're the person that takes them to fresh feed. You're the person that brings salt and minerals. So, yeah, they're doing better. The calves are starting to pop in that first bunch, and we hit peak lactation on those calves. So they're finally starting to grow and look pretty sharp. The second bunch we branded first of this week. And we had some issues with a couple, but I mean, they still fell into the pen. But there's a lot of that has to do with just setup, where you set up, how you set up, what their tendencies are, where you can get to, where's accessible, things like that. So that group will come around too. They just need time. We try not to do too intense of grazing before they've had vaccines, and we might push it a little hard even, but they seem to do okay and respond pretty well to it. So it works for us.
I think that this meadow grazing is really going to help the cows that don't trust us, because it seems gates have been a problem for them.
Well, it's either going to make us or break us, because
They got to go through a gate every other day.
but if you turn them out and you're not going to be at the gate, that might raise some issues as well. We've been through that as well before.
Well, yeah, that's true. You go too far the other way. So what Tom's referring to is when we first were ranching together, we always had somebody or both of us at the gate so we could count or just get a good look at cattle. And then pretty soon we had it to where they wouldn't go through a gate unless you were there.
Which sounds like a big problem, or sounds like a good thing, but is a huge problem at times.
Yeah. Yep. It wasn't a problem until it was, and then it was a big problem.
It was a big problem.
So too much of a good thing is not always a good thing.
Yeah. And that was still when we had big herds.
Yeah. What else is happening? The cows are getting better. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's a full, complete turnaround. No. We still need more time, but
we're still branding.
And it's getting better.
Yep. We got 10 days of branding left, and then we're done. I think. I don't know what day today is.
Tom is very sleep deprived. Not last week, but the week before, he was leaving the house at 3 a.m. Like, not getting up at 3 a.m., leaving the house at 3 a.m. to go branding.
Yeah, last week was going to be our slow week, and Sunday afternoon, it's like, man, we're going to have a full week to catch up on projects and get cows looked at, get stuff sorted, get stuff right. And then none of that happened. None of that happened.
No, and this time of year is super crazy. So you've been going to all the brandings, and I've been sticking around here.
Not all of them. We don't go to all of them. We go to a lot.
I was just saying, like, all the things, just a general. You've been going to all the brandings.
Oh,
like, yeah. It wasn't. I didn't mean you literally went to every single branding.
No, thank goodness.
But I've either been sticking around here, or I helped with the Cattlemen's Ball of Nebraska this year, which was in the Panhandle. That was my first time attending and volunteering at it. And it was a lot of fun, and just for a really great cause. It's all of the proceeds from the Cattlemen's Ball go to cancer research. Tom actually got to visit the Fred and Pamela Buffett Cancer Center did you go in March?
It was in March, end of March. You couldn't go, and it was a last minute deal. It was a kind of a joke, and
it wasn't.
Everybody agreed. Yeah, go. I thought everybody would back out on that deal, but
it wasn't a joke. You're like, I'm serious, I'll go. I think you thought that you wouldn't get to go, but
I mean, the circumstances were a little bit different, but it was well worth the trip. It was a way cool experience.
So that's where a lot of the proceeds from the Cattlemen's Ball go. I think like 90% go to the Fred and Pamela Buffett Cancer Research Center, and 10% stay locally, where the ball moves around to different locations in Nebraska every year. And I think 10% stays locally for health and wellness projects local. But I got to MC on Friday night, and then I helped organize the beef tent. So I was in there on Saturday night, and I stayed for the Colin Ray concert and Chancey Williams. Got a little bit of a girl crush on Brooke Latka, his fiddle player. I just will never not be amazed by her and her talents. But then, so I stayed in town that Sunday night, slept in, and came home Sunday, and headed to North Platte the following Monday to speak at the Nebraska Women in Ag Herd That conference. And that was really cool because I got to take the kids along and talk about good movement. And then Wednesday, I was in Ogallala helping with the Nebraska Cattleman Beef Ambassador contest. So all this to say, we've been running our little heinies off.
Yeah.
And then this week, we're recording on a Wednesday evening, and we have branded Monday, Tuesday,
We brand
Wednesday,
every
but
weekday.
we together, and Monday was one of ours. So I was cooking and helping in the branding pen.
Yep. It's been quite a go. It's, this time of year is tough. You're around the same people. I mean, we're used to typically working alone or as kind of like a unit. But even then, our unit's got a lot of experience and it's pretty family oriented. So we don't even crew up really a lot in the spring for unit stuff. And it starts to weigh on you. I mean, you spend all morning and early afternoon with the same bunch of guys every weekday, and then come home and try to get caught up on your stuff and cows checked, water moved, fence moved, etc. So yeah, there's a lot going on this time of year, and take it from me, tempers flare.
Yeah, but even you said you're not as tired this year as you were last year.
No, we had an extra herd last year too that we don't have this year, and that's been absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, that extra herd was, you wouldn't think that it would be, but it is, it adds a layer of extra. I don't know how else to say it.
Well, I don't either. But we were trying to string them too. I mean, we we're trying to do new things and come up with new ideas and better ways to grow grass for the dormant grays. And the only way you do that is to bust your hump when you can during the growing. And yeah, keep stuff moving, keep stuff regrowing. I mean, there's a lot of country that's overutilized and a lot of country that's underutilized. So you try to balance those two out and grow as much feed as you can while it's going to grow. And that comes with a lot of work. Thank God we got good help. Kids are fantastic.
Also, we've been getting rain, so that's awesome.
Yeah, ranching's easy when it rains.
Although not when you're grazing meadows and it's wet.
Well, it comes with a more management. It's not like strip grazing has been for us typically. Typically, the last several years, the rains shut off the end of May. And what you got is what you got. Well, we're on sub-irrigated meadows, so yeah, there's a lot of wetness, a lot of water.
We just moved the cows that are already on their rotation this evening, and they have some hills on the side of the meadow, and they were glad to get their tootsies dry.
Yeah. There's always a dry place. You have to have a dry place, but this is like there's some elevation. They can get away from the bugs.
Yeah, the flies were bad last night, but I didn't think they were that bad this afternoon.
No, they weren't. We need to get rubs out and fly control on if we can.
Yeah. So things are going good.
Yeah.
Just busy.
Yep.
And we're making progress with our building trust with the cows.
Yep.
Some of them it's taken a little longer.
I have got some projects in my bunch.
But I guess that, like, you recognize that with those cows, and
it'd be hard to not recognize the way Gather went on Monday.
Yeah, but like, it's kind of like what I was talking to those ladies at Women in Ag about. Like, when you're talking to humans, validation can go a long way. And we validate our cows by recognizing, like, their heads are up, something's going on, or, whatever. And then we back off, or we recognize and validate them. And
you validate it, but there comes a time when push comes to shove and you're just going to have to live with this, because whether she likes it or not, calves need work.
She didn't really need to be in the branding pen.
Just
her calf did.
And we had kind of made that decision there towards the end before she changed her mind and wanted to work with us a little bit. But it was a pretty good foot race there for a bit in a place where you don't want to race.
On the meadow, in the wet.
Yeah, and I typically take dogs, but I didn't take a dog this year.
Well, every place we branded was small, not like it wasn't a big pasture.
Right, but the dogs can go down into the softer spots and keep people a little bit safer.
Actually, on that meadow is where Roxanne fell over on me.
Should have had a dog.
I did have dogs.
Should have used them more.
I thought I could cross the water because the dogs went right through. It wasn't that deep. Well, Roxanne decided to stop and eat some reeds because I don't know, they must be sweet or something, but they love that.
They're pretty high in protein.
Those reeds. And when I asked her to step up and keep walking, it was like slow motion. She just tipped over in the water, and my boots and chinks and everything were soaked.
You're talking a 50-pound dog versus a 1,500-pound big booty Judy. There is a little bit of difference. I know you're not a math major, but
we know that I'm not good at math. Do you remember when I was talking? Well, let's see. I think it was I gotta look. Episode 30, we talked about these cows, and I kept saying 2/3 of our herd, and you're like, or half of our herd, and you said, get better at math. Oh. So we've established I'm not good at math.
Well, it sounds like you got some work to do too.
I'm not good at physics either. That's why I didn't become a veterinarian.
That's why.
It is why. I was on my way, and then physics happened, ruined it all, changed my major. I didn't want to have to get a good enough grade to get into vet school. Anyway, got any other updates?
Not that I can think of.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up.
Sorry, folks.
We're exhausted. It's that time of year, but like not exhausted in a terrible way.
No, it's been good. It's just the days get long, and once you're up for the day, you're kind of up for the day.
And the nights are short when you wake up at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Or earlier with those crazy storms we've been having.
That's the problem, is once you start getting up, you're up. You don't really ever just sleep, like a good sleep.
Yeah.
And we kind of have an unwritten rule. If you ride with your unit, you don't sleep while somebody else is driving. Because
Trip broke that rule yesterday.
Well, he's young and he works like a grown man and is handy enough to do it. So
it's past our bedtime, so and it is 8:24 p.m. But with that, until next time, draw good movement. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm so grateful for you. If you found value in this episode, I'd love for you to share with others who might also benefit from tuning in. Share by word of mouth, send it in a text, take a screenshot and post it on social media, or share however you prefer. And if you haven't already, hit the follow or subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Until next time, draw good movement.